Hello students, welcome to Crack Reddy's online learning platform. Today we have Mr. Vikram Reddy with us, who has cracked RBI Grade B 2021 exam. So many congratulations, Vikram.
Thank you, sir.
So today he will share his journey, how did he prepare, what sources he followed for the exam. So he will start from his introduction and his strategy for every part of the exam, like phase 1, phase 2 and the interview. So Vikram.
Yes, sir. Basically, I've done my civil engineering in 2012 from BITS, Hyderabad. After that, I started preparing for government exams with a focus on UPSC. I've been doing that for the past 9 years. And for the last 3-4 years, I've been focusing on other exams also, particularly RBI, SEBI, and NABARD. And in 2018, I went till the interview of RBI. And in 2019, I went to a NABARD interview also. And this time I was able to clear RBI.
Okay, so up to which stage you have cleared that UPSC? Up to which stage you have reached in UPSC exam?
UPSC 5 mains I wrote, but I did not clear mains.
Okay, okay.
I went till mains.
Okay. And other exams like IBPS, PO and...
No, sir, I have not attempted IBPS PO exams. I wrote only RBI and NABARD exam.
Okay. So first question we will ask you that how did you come to know about us? About Crack Grade B?
I was following like these videos available on YouTube, and there I think I found a mention of Crack Grade B somewhere. And one of my friends has also referred to Crack Grade B way back in 2018 only. So I got to know about this then, and I had subscribed to the RBI and NABARD coaching material in I think in the beginning of 2020. But RBI exam did happen then. NABARD happened, so I used the material for NABARD also back then, but I could not clear NABARD, and yeah, this time RBI.
Okay, so let's start from your that phase 1 of RBI, specifically for this time. That quant and reasoning part was little difficult side. So how did you manage? What sources you followed, and how did you manage in this exam? So also any specific message for future aspirants?
Yes, sir. Because I come from engineering background, I had like no problem with the concepts of quant and reasoning as such. I only had to work on my speed. For that, I took a lot of mock tests. I think that is the only strategy which is important for people who know the concepts and who want to improve their speed. And for people who do not know the concepts also, I'd say that they can follow any standard books or whatever content reasoning videos that are available on YouTube to brush up their concepts. And once they're through with that, they also need to like focus on practicing mock tests. I think that is the more important part.
So one specific question, journalists, the future aspirants ask that how many months GA should they cover for this RBI Grade B exam?
Yes, sir. I'd say 2 to 3 months, not more than that. Specific focus on the last 1 or 2 months before the exam. One must be thorough with the current affairs. And 3 months also if time permits, but 2 months definitely.
Okay. And what sources you followed for this GA part?
Yes, sir. I basically followed 2 sources. I had followed GK Today and I supplemented it with another coaching institute material. But I also followed PIB monthly releases of various ministries. Whatever was there in the news in, let's say, current affairs magazine related to any particular announcement by the government, I supplemented it with PIB source so that whatever I had was more comprehensive. And if any detail was missing, I tried to include there.
Okay. So many students have one doubt in their mind always that in RBI Grade B exam, most of the students from UPSC background or engineering background used to clear this exam because they have an advantage in of their preparation, specifically of UPSC student. And engineering students have advantage in QRE section specifically. So what is your view on this, that UPSC students have an extra edge in this exam?
Sir, I don't think like any background is an advantage or disadvantage for this exam. All one needs is the right preparation. Once we have that set, any person can clear this exam, no matter what the background is.
Yeah, actually, I will also add to this point that UPSC is basically concept-based exam, while RBI is totally different. On fact-based questions are being asked. You will find less concept-based, but this time they have added this descriptive part. So that was also a combination of fact plus concept-based questions. So anyone can prepare, those who don't have UPSC background also. Okay, so you covered the syllabus before the exam, or before the phase 1 exam, or you started it after phase 1 exam for the phase 2?
Yes, sir. Finance and management. Before RBI exam there was SEBI exam. I was preparing for that also. So there was finance and management in SEBI also. So that while preparing for SEBI exam, I could cover most of the finance and management part, and I had short notes available with me. So that helped in this RBI preparation also, because I had to devote less time for FM, and I could use that time to practice English, descriptive English, and also cover ESI topics. Yes.
Okay. So that we have covered the phase 1 part, and now come to the phase 2 part, specifically for the ESI. Student used to ask, first question is that uh, any student who is preparing for this exam, RBI exam, so they should follow PIB on daily basis. Which newspaper they should follow, or they should read newspaper on daily basis or not?
Yes, sir. If the candidate has time, and if one has started early, let's say 5 or 6 months before the exam date, so then that person must definitely follow PIB every day and follow newspaper every day, because that will help in scoring more, definitely. But if one does not have so much time, then we can follow PIB compilation. That is also good enough. But it is better to like cross-check those compilations with the actual PIB source, because some of the detail might be missed. So newspaper, I'd say even if one misses, if time doesn't permit, that is okay. But PIB is must for ESI.
Okay. So what sources you followed for ESI static and current, in most of the students who are preparing want to know that?
Yes, sir. For static part, I had not done much, because I used to prepare for UPSC, and one of my optional was sociology. So for social issues, I had not done any static part as such. And economy also, I had not done any specific thing apart from going through some of the Mrunal videos that are available on YouTube related to economy static topics. But I had not given much focus on that, because current affairs in ESI constitutes the major part.
Yes.
So for current affairs, I followed you can follow any one source, any one coaching institute material, and supplement that with PIB. That is very important. Any one source is good enough. You have to supplement that with PIB.
Okay. And for descriptive part specifically, did you attempt any mock
Yes, sir.
test? How did you
For
practice for this?
descriptive part, I used to Craig Redby used to provide some compilation of questions and answers for ESI and FM. Around 70 questions, I remember they've provided. So I used to go through those questions, like how they have structured the questions and what content that was that must be put in that question. So that helped me in preparing the structure and writing answers. And I used to practice like answers by setting this word limit for 10 marker and 50 marker, because that is the most important thing.
Yes.
And that helped.
So you practiced using that laptop or computer or a pen and notebook?
Yes, sir. No. I had the laptop only, and I have this like a desktop type keyboard, which is like actual, which is what we get at the exam center. So
Yes.
that helped me in improving my speed also. Laptop keys are a little different when compared to that. So when you go to the exam center and type, initially there'll be some kind of difficulty. So to avoid that, I had a proper desktop keyboard only, and I used to practice in that only. So that helped me in improving my speed.
So in the final exam in the ESI part, so that there were word limits of 600 and 400. So were you able to manage, and how many words you attempted in the final exam?
Yes, sir. I almost, in fact, I've always stuck to the word limit. I've never exceeded the word limit, but I also did not write very less also. It was like very close to the word limit, 370, 380, and 570, 580, something like that. That helps in writing a balanced answer for all the questions. Otherwise, you may write more in one question and write less because of paucity of time. So I try to ensure that I wrote balanced answers for all questions.
Okay. So now come to the FM part. So how did you prepare for that? What sources you followed that? Any book you referred for the FM preparation, means finance and management?
No, sir, I did not read any static book as such because that takes a lot of time and I don't think that is required. While preparing for SEBI only, I had a short notes prepared. Like one of my friends, he has done it following another source, and I supplemented that with crack railway material for FM. Wherever new things were, because this time there were new things that are added in FM syllabus. So for those new topics, I try to write as much as possible. Otherwise, uh, I used to read that notes only for FM, the static part. Current affairs, I used to follow this FM current finance monthly compilations, which Craig Redby and another source which they used to release. I used to do that only. That's it.
Okay, so many students have always questioned that, and you can easily see on Google, this social media, that students used to discuss that they should use this book for like management. Robinson is referred, I think, and for management, this finance also some books are referred. So, will you advise to the future aspirant they should go with those books, or any other shows they should follow?
Uh, that takes up a lot of time, and one must be really focused on like what topics one must cover. Uh, Comparing whatever there in the static textbook with the previous year questions or the syllabus, that takes up a lot of time. So instead of that, I suggest that they can follow one coaching material which is good enough, and then supplement that with like material which is available on online by following previous year's questions and topics which are not usually covered in the coaching material. You can supplement that with whatever is available online, and that too they may need not go into the depths. Just whatever was asked in previous exams, previous year RBI exams, they can cover as much as possible, and that's it. One need not follow any static book as such.
Okay, so for this finance part specifically, one questions is being repeated by the aspirants that they should follow RBI website FAQs. So, did you follow the RBI FAQs?
FAQ section I have not followed, sir. FAQs like I have not done it even for interview. RBI notifications, I had there was a compilation of RBI notifications that is available. I just followed that, but as such, I had not followed RBI FAQs.
Okay. So now we will discuss about the English descriptive. That is a very important part of the phase 2, and it decides most of the selection also.
Yes,
So
sir.
how did you practice for that? And one question always aspirant ask that they should read newspaper article for this English descriptive exam or not.
Yes, sir. Reading newspaper helps in articulating better. I used to read newspaper regularly all these years of my preparation. So that helped me in developing better answers and better essays. Although right before the exam, I had not read any newspaper, but I had the habit of reading newspapers previously, so that did help. And regarding descriptive English as such, uh, descriptive English and FM, these are the two most scoring papers, I would say. And candidate must focus more attention on these two papers. ESI is like very dynamic, and one may not be able to like score very high unless they're really lucky. So while giving enough time for ESI, I would say focus more attention on descriptive English and FM. Coming to practice for descriptive English, I before RBI exam there was SEBI, so I had done like a decent amount of practice for descriptive English back then itself. So that helped me in RBI also, and that helped me save time while preparation also, because I had enough practice in hand. And like I used to follow this time limit, and I used to write essays within the time limit and also within the word limit. I used to set a time limit of 30 minutes, 25 minutes, and I used to write 300 words, 350 words, 400 words. Sometimes, let's say even if 200 words, I tried to write in 20 minutes. So I practiced in both formats so that like I will be comfortable in whatever word limit they would ask.
Yeah, practice is very important because
Very
otherwise you will
important.
not be able to manage the time in the exam.
No.
So which newspaper you regularly follow?
I used to read the Hindu regularly before while I was preparing for UPSC. And before my interview, I had started reading the business newspapers also, Business Line, Business Standard, Mint, etc. But any one newspaper, any one general newspaper would be enough for descriptive English.
Okay. So now come to the interview point, that you have no experience and you have also gap years. So how did you tackle those in the interview? As many of the students or aspirants who are preparing for this exam, next year exam, they have gap years and they also don't have experience. So they always have fear of being rejected by the RBI interview panel. So how many gap years were there in your biodata? And you also don't have any experience. So
Yes,
yeah.
sir. So I graduated in 2012, and after that, I have not worked anywhere as such, except for part-time work here and there. So my gap would be almost 9 years, or even more than that, little more than 9 years. So that is, if we look at it, that is my biggest weak point. So I tried to frame a better answer for that, so that the interview panel is convinced that this person is just not sitting idle and not doing anything and just preparing. So in that regard, mock interviews helped me, because while preparing for mock interviews, I tried to frame an answer for this gap year question in such a way that the board or the panel is convinced that this person is really focused about what he wants to do, and that is why he has this gap, and he's trying to learn something, and he's trying to be something. Because of that, there's a gap. That's okay.
Yeah, okay. So what was your interview experience you want to share with the parents?
Yes, sir. My interview was very cordial. It was, I think it was short. It was just for about 10 or 12 minutes. And the opening question by the chairman, sir, was about my gap only, for which he asked me, like, I am sure you would have expected this question. So we would all like to know what your answer is for this question, where like you have a gap of almost 10 years. How would you like to justify it? So that is how it started, the interview. And I was able to, I think I was able to answer it properly, convince them that I really want to work in the public sector, and I've been trying for that for the past 8 or 9 years for the same reason. And whatever questions that followed were follow-up questions based on my answer. So I would say my biodata formed the basis for which questions were asked in the interview, and biodata is the most important thing for any candidate appearing for the interview.
Okay. So any source or any reference sites specifically for interview preparation you followed?
Yes, sir. I used to read like Hindu newspaper for general current affairs, whatever is happening. And I used to read business newspapers also. Business newspapers. I used to cover various topics from each business newspaper, Business Line, Business Standard, Mint, Financial Express. But I don't think so many newspapers are required because I was quite anxious and I wanted to show the interview that I had covered all these topics or whatever is there in the news. In that anxiety, I used to cover. But what I realized is that one good business newspaper and one general newspaper is enough. Apart from that, we must go through RBI website and RBI publications like the annual report and financial stability report and public other reports and notifications which RBI releases from time to time. We must be aware of what is the reason or what is the purpose behind such notification and what are the important provisions in those notifications and when those notifications or reports are published. And we must be able to like answer it in a very confident manner, whatever we know. That is the important thing.
Okay. So one question we missed that for ESI and finance and banking current affairs, how many months current affairs must be covered by any aspirant? Or how many months they should stick?
Sir, yeah, for ESI, at least 6 months I would recommend. At least 6 months. And if while doing government schemes, because government schemes are very important for ESI paper, we must focus more on the schemes that are announced in the last 1 year, and especially those announcements made in the budget. So these become the more important ones, and also those which are there in the news in the last 1 year we must cover. Apart from that, whatever important schemes are there for like there are a few ministries like rural development, health and family welfare, skill development, and they have some flagship schemes. We must be thorough with the details of those schemes, and we must do them not just from any government scheme booklet of this coaching institute. We must supplement that with whatever is there, any current announcements made on PIB regarding that scheme. So I used to do that for government schemes. And for reports also, I used to like supplement whatever is there in the current affairs material with PIB announcements. So that is the more important thing.
Okay. One more question students usually ask that for this government scheme specifically, they should refer the relevant ministry website or not?
Yes, sir. I used to do that also. Like it is a very tedious job and it takes a lot of time, but somehow I used to do for at least important ministries and important schemes I used to do. But generally, I'd say whatever government schemes booklet is there, I used to follow Vision IAS government schemes booklet. I used to supplement that whatever details were there in that booklet with PIB announcements and press releases of that ministry and that particular scheme. And sometimes I used to do the detailed ministry scheme also. But I would say that is not required as such. But PIB is important. Whatever is there in PIB, use it to supplement your whatever government schemes booklet source is there. So this is very important.
Okay. So any specific message you want to give to the future aspirants in for phase 1 preparation, phase 2 preparation, and interview preparation?
Yes, sir. Like from my experience, what I can say is like even if you have not worked anywhere, or even if you have like a long gap, and you really want to get into this service, whether it is RBI or SEBI or NABARD or any other government exam, all you need is the right strategy and dedication and commitment that you will have to put in every rigorously before the exam. And once you do it, there's like a very good chance that you will clear. So yeah, I would say put in the effort and you will get the result.
Okay. So thank you, Mr. Vikram, and congratulations again, and we wish you good luck for your future journey. And
thank you, sir.
Thank you for this session. It will really help to the future aspirants and will clear the doubts of the future aspirants.
Okay, thank you so much.